Hello, everybody, and welcome to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. Uh, it's not a great day outside, but you know what's great, Randall?
What?
The
What's
weather's
happening?
always good inside a liquor store.
I thought you were going to say that it was your birthday, and that's what also is great.
Well, it is great, but I wasn't going to mention my own birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
so it is my birthday. It's
We've
my
already been
birthday.
plied with cake.
You guys got everybody, including the studio audience, all got cake, pineapple upside down cake, which is my favorite. And my beautiful wife Jennifer makes that every year for my birthday. And you're so lucky because you get to try some of it.
I got a little tiny piece, which it's
Oh, did you eat yours already?
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you would just give me like a little
Sample.
cake
That looks like a
preview.
cake sample. No, the lovely Jennifer was the first person to wish me a happy birthday today.
Yeah.
It was at 12:10 last night when I was taking the puppy out. We had a new dog, so
It's the gift that keeps giving.
yeah, I woke up. I got to take the dog out. Oh, by the way, happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. She Princess Poppy is her name.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, she's a
Well, speaking of royalty,
yes.
don't we need to welcome the great one,
We
El
should.
Rey, to the dais?
Yes, we should. Here he comes, making his way through now. Actually, I think this music should be for me today.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. Here we go.
It's the wine of the week. Disappointing.
All right, here's enough of that nonsense. Here's Ray with the wine of the week.
The
What do you got
wine.
for? Yeah, what do you got for us, Ray?
So yesterday, yeah, it was like 70 degrees, and I got an inspiration for a wine for grilling.
Okay,
So
not grilling today, Ray.
no grilling today. No grilling. Yeah, what a
The
difference.
dream of grilling.
The dream.
What a difference.
We're
a day
getting
makes.
we're getting there. We're getting there. That's
Yes.
we're gonna listen. It's New England, so we're gonna have some really good weather, and it's gonna get crappy again. Then we'll have some really good weather and crap until the point where we have good days. No, then it'll get crappy again. It's New England. I keep forgetting. But anyways, there'll be some days squished in there that we'll be able to grill.
So this is a wine designed for the hopes and dreams of grilling.
Yes.
Okay.
However, it can be consumed by itself or actually with food. I mean, whether you're doing chicken on the grill, you're doing hamburgers, sausage, beef, anything really. But
Can I have it with pizza?
you could have it with pizza.
right.
Absolutely, you could. Sure. So this is Marietta Cells from Sonoma.
Okay.
They call this Old Vine Red, and it's kind of a funky blend. They're calling it lot number 74. If you look closely at the bottle, there's no vintage on it.
Okay.
So this is really their way of doing business. They have a compilation of several vintages that they blend. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So this is kind of a funky blend. They're all old vines, sourced mainly from Sonoma and Mendocino, but it's primarily Zinfandel. And I said grilling, nothing better to grill with than Zinfandel. So this is primarily Zinfandel. There's also Petite Sirah that gives it that really deep color and structure.
It really is actually dark red.
Yeah, that's from the Petite Sirah. Also, Syrah is in there as well, and then he
Okay, Syrah or just regular Syrah?
just regular Syrah.
All right, great.
And then they also add an Italian varietal, Barbera, and a French, or yeah, I guess French, Grenache. So it's really a wine, a lot of red berry fruit in it, plum, a little bitter chocolate,
Yes.
and a little black tea. And of course, with Zinfandel, you get that briary component along with some
Definitely.
vanilla.
And a slight touch of green. You get like that sort of green
Yes.
sort of flavor to it.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Really, it's really, really nice. I think when, it's funny though, when I see anything that says Old Vine, I immediately think of Zinfandel. That's how much it's been ingrained, like Old Vine Zin
You're right.
has really been ingrained in our lexicon, wine lexicon, Randall.
Sure.
But every time I see it, I automatically assumed that it was Red Zin. When you told me it was a blend, it sort of threw me off.
Yeah.
It's really good though.
Well, and you're saying that, just from the body and the nose of this, it's very reminiscent of their Lot 71.
Lots
But
of
This is lot 74, right?
Oh, good.
This is lot 74.
Yeah.
But just an FYI, going forward, they may start to do vintage dated red wine.
Okay, so like Randall and I, like in like whiskey, if you you can only use the youngest of anything, any component of whiskey.
Mhm.
So if you use like, if you use 50-year-old whiskey, but you also used a 7-year-old whiskey to round out the blend, the number you could put on it, the highest number you could put would be 7. You
Okay.
couldn't put the 50. You can tell people the average is X.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but you can't do that.
Can't
How-
label it that way.
Can't label it that way. What would they do to sort of is there any real rules around vintaging?
No, there really isn't. I mean, if you want to get technical about this, this probably would be 2021 vintage. But they might have a few barrels that go back to 2020, 2019.
Okay.
So, no,
They're
there's
probably
no-
going to use the youngest.
That's when
then.
they've blended it, or that's when the
No, that-
grapes grew?
That's when they were fermented.
Yes. So they're in barrels. Actually, 20% of this was stainless steel fermented, believe it or not. And
Okay.
80,
No, I could
80%
taste
was,
You could sense that, Randall?
Yeah.
Could you?
yeah,
You're like
and 80% was,
you're like an idiot savant. I mean, it's something like that.
so it's about 80, 20, 80% in neutral oak and 20% stainless steel. So they're in barrels and then they just blend after that.
Because vintage, like, couldn't they like? The way I think I would do it is sort of like, do they rebarrel it after they blend it?
Yes.
Do they
Yes.
so they blend it and they put it back in a barrel?
Yes, correct.
So, like, would you put like a blending date? Like, oh, would no one even understand what that meant?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to.
But or would you count that as the vintage date? Like when they blend it and put it back in the barrel, would they count that as the vintage?
that is the
date?
vintage date. And that's what they're going to be doing.
Okay, see,
going
I knew I'd
forward.
figure it out sooner or later.
So going forward, they're going to be
Right.
doing that. Whether it's next year, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
they are going to be going to vintage dated wines.
I mean,
Do
I don't
you
really
think-
care. Like if you call this, like Randall was making a joke about him liking 71. This is 72.
74.
But whatever. Using the numeric system, it's really the same thing. I mean, if you just put like what batch this is, it sort of works the same way, doesn't it?
It does.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know. I think that you can seek clarity in both whiskey and wine, but it's going to be additional confusion to people who are just novices, and they just like to see, like, you have whiskey
People like
like
numbers.
Old Number 7, which
Yeah,
is
they like numbers.
Jack Daniels, and everyone's like, oh, it's 7 years old. It's
It's
like,
not.
no, it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
So I don't know. I think people
I just think as
that
long
they
as you're
like to see
consistent, right?
vintage instead of lot. That's going to be my guess. It sounds more classy.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what you're really talking about. And if you put more information on the label, then it just gives you questions to ask your poor wine retailer who maybe, you
Well,
know,
that's why we're here.
Very true. Yes,
Right.
that's why we're here.
But you know what's the most important part? It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice
Very
big.
layered, very
it's
textured,
yeah, it's got
nice
a lot
mouthfeel.
going
Yeah.
on to it.
Yeah.
How much? What's the price on this one?
$19.99. Today and all of next week, it will be 20% off on a bottle.
Wow. Okay,
So basically $15.99.
that's nice.
and this is
Yeah.
open for people to taste if they come by.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh,
So
but
this is the thing that settles all the arguments about
All the
vintage,
arguments.
lot, whatever.
Right out the window.
You come in, you taste it, you like
Taste
the
it.
price, then there's no real question. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Ray.
Oh, okay. So
He
that
did-
lead-
he did- he
that
didn't mean to
leads me into a little segue. So this afternoon, my little 1 to 3 will be this will be tasted along with 2 or 3 other wines as well.
All right. Before he goes, I'm going to actually. You can stay through the break and stuff like that
Okay.
too, Ray. But I wanted to get this on the radio. Wines in full bloom, April 12th. So next week, next Saturday.
Week from today, right?
Week from today, April 12th, 2 to 4. Spring tasting with Ray Safer.
Oh,
It's going
this
to be
has your-
downstairs, 20 seats. He's tasting like some amazing wines. It's $10 gift card. You purchase a gift card, and you can bring a friend.
And
Just
that's
tell them
El,
you're going to drink wine, and you'll make new friends. That's a good way to go about it.
and Ray Safer is El Ray.
El
the
Ray.
People who don't know. is
Yes,
El-
yeah.
oh,
Ray
okay.
Safer
Okay.
is El Ray, and that's going on next week. Randall, we won't have a radio show next week on the 12th, so I want to make sure we got that out there.
All right.
right,
Well,
get us outta
listen,
here.
we're going to have to take a break from It's the Liquor Talking the radio show here on AM 830 on your dial. And we will kind of circle back on the other side of these commercials. Please stay tuned.
I was wondering where that was.
Anyway,
All right.
so I don't know. I guess like while you're preparing the next thing, I'm just going to.
Well, we're on the commercial break. I thought people would like to
I
try
think
this.
that like in all the products, there's a certain component of marketing. And then there's like, it's a little bit of
Faffery.
smoke and mirrors to a lot of the consumers because
That's
they
true.
could be very clear about stuff, but then, you know, it just reminds me of the old champagne argument. Like everybody wanted to use champagne because it was a really famous region and it was a symbol of quality. And then they had to like kind of readjust everything. And now everybody has to deal with terms like cava and asti and, you know, sparkling white wine or whatever. And I think in the end, it's led to more clarification. But at the time, you know, the vintage and the lot numbers and the even blending process
Yeah.
and the quality or the type of grapes. And it's just is very, it's a lot. And so they try and, no pun intended, they try and reduce it to something that I think is easy for people to understand, but as a result, cause more confusion.
Liquid to lips always solves that
Right,
problem.
exactly. So
You know what I mean? So being able to
Very
try
true.
something solves any ambiguity. Who cares? Does it taste good? What's the price point?
That's it.
Well,
That's it.
bing, bang, boom. You're sold or you're not sold. I mean, depending on what you like. I mean, you know, people always get to the thing is like, well, I didn't like that one. Everybody else liked that one. I go, well, that's why there's Coke and Pepsi. I mean,
whoa,
you know,
whoa. That's
not-
why there's RC.
well,
Draft.
that's for the exceptional palates, Randall, who drinks Diet Coke all the time. Oh, speaking of which, I got some really cool sodas for us to try today,
Nice.
or tonic, as we used to call it in my day when I was a
Tonic,
kid.
me too.
You want a tonic? Want a
Yeah.
tonic? All right. Well, let's do that. First of all, Mr. McCarthy dropped off his back from his trip from Japan, and I have no idea how to read this. Okay, but because it's all in Japanese, but it's from
It's
from a-
right to left.
It's yeah,
and then
doesn't
top
matter.
down.
I do know it's 5% alcohol, and it's 3% real fruit juice. And this is lemon flavor. I can tell by the lemon on the can. But this is something that he said. I think you should try this. I think you'd really like it. So
For the people listening or peering into their screens, this is in kanji or Japanese
Japanese writing.
characters.
Yeah. This is called plain, but plain means
And it's
lemon.
technically katakana instead of hiragana.
All right, so I'm gonna open this up. Randall, you like this? Look at this.
Yep.
The whole
lid
the whole lid comes off.
opens,
Yeah, it's really-
making it
Oh.
almost like a glass.
Oh, guess what? It's really cool. Is the lemon just floated to the top? There's a real slice of lemon in this thing.
Thank you.
Somebody want to come up from the studio audience and
And
start
then there's
grabbing
a
these?
ship underneath it.
There's a ship.
Well, they're putting stuff like in the bottle or the can.
Yeah.
It's like, how's it get in there?
I don't know how it got in there, but they put it in there. Here you go. Studio audience, can you get it? Got it? Okay, great. There's actually a lemon lemon wheel
real
floating on the top of this. That's
lemon.
actually that is about the exact size of the can. Look at it.
In diameter, yeah.
Yeah. The Japanese live in the future. I swear to God, they do.
They should put like a pear in a bottle or something like that.
This is really good.
Patent that idea.
Yeah, kind of really
All right.
intense.
Nice.
lemon
Yeah, it's a
there,
real
yeah.
tense lemon flavor.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
It's
It brought a
real
little
lemon.
sunshine to a dreary day.
So a
That's
lot
really
of the
nice.
lemon that you get is like a lemon head or like with a lot of sugar.
This is not that. All right, we're coming back now. That's really good. You can't get that in the United States. Congratulations. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here in WCRN AM 830. We are broadcasting from Julio's Liquors on Route 9 in Westboro. Go to juliosliquors.com for all pertinent information. We are on WCRN, but you can also follow along on Facebook. Go to the Julio's Liquors Facebook page. You can follow me on Instagram, Whiskey Journeyman, no E in whiskey. And this actually, Cousin Vinny takes this and makes it a podcast afterward, and you can look it up anytime you want on look for It's the Liquor Talking wherever you get your podcasts, such as Spotify and so forth. I have some other exciting news where we're going to be supplying content to, but that hasn't been all fulfilled yet.
Are
So
you
I'll let you
calling
know.
this content?
Yes,
Okay. All
this
right,
content.
clarify.
It's just like a
This
fine bottle
show,
of wine.
We are
It's
actually
liquid content.
feel like it's content. Okay.
This is incontinence. It's the,
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
word. I think the word you're looking for. Hey, during the break, we tried this great acai. I guess you would say it was a seltzer, a sparkling seltzer. It actually has a real lemon in the can, which is really cool. This is only available in Japan, I guess.
There are
So
two words printed in English.
English plain,
Plain.
which means lemon.
And Asahi.
Acai.
Yeah, but it
That's-
sounds like acai, like which is nothing.
I
to
think
do
that's
with
how
this.
you pronounce it. I think. I'm not. I won't.
Anyway,
I won't go to my
AS
grave on that one.
AHI. And then the rest of it is in
Japanese writing, whatever you would call that. I don't know what you call that. Is there a word?
the
for it?
overall thing for writing in those little pictographic calligraphy is kanji.
Kanji?
But
Okay.
this is katakana, not
All right.
hiragana. Don't
All right. I'm
confuse
not even gonna delve into that. Hey, since it is my birthday, I love getting presents. And our studio audience gave me I got a present here that I'm gonna open up right now.
It's kind of lovely floral.
Why is it ticking?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Get a floor. It's really nice, very nicely wrapped, I might add. And let's see what it is. Oh, let's
It's a
see.
frame picture.
Oh, this should have been for Princess Poppy. She got me a frame to put for Princess Poppy.
And it says Princess Poppy on it.
It does.
That's how you know it's
Yeah,
for the
that's
dog.
so my birthday present is a present for my dog. Okay.
What's the poem in there?
It's not a poem. It just says, "Happy birthday, Ryan. Congratulations
Oh,
on your
okay.
new puppy." It's really nice. This frame includes a free 4x6 print. Just email an image if you want, and they'll print it out for they'll print it in a print when it's ready. Cheers, Diane Newman. Thank you very much, Diane. I really like that. We're trying to figure out how this is perfect because we were trying to figure out my
How
the
you
dog
can
is
take
making.
more pictures of the
Exactly,
dog? Because I've seen
exactly.
about 1,000.
Oh, you haven't seen 1,000. You haven't seen 1,000. And I got a card too.
Yeah.
Having a fun birthday is 90% mental and 10% alcohol. That's about right. And a very nice note. And I'll read it. Or is it the other way around? Yes, I think it is the other way around because it is 90% would be a lot.
Alcohol?
Actually, that leads me to our drink of the
boy.
show.
Oh boy.
Dun, 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 dun. That was a perfect
What a segue.
90% would
It's
be
180
180 proof, which would basically take our breath away
Be Everclear.
forever.
Or
Forever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this to the studio audience. They can pour it after for themselves.
so the connection to those people listening and kind of lost probably
Yeah,
about
we're gonna
20
do-
minutes ago
Yeah. Well,
is that we were just opening a bottle of what's called the Lost Lantern, I believe Mississippi Mud.
that's
And
what's
the
called,
reason
yeah.
it's connected to a high proof spirit is this is technically what we would call in the whiskey industry a hazmat bottling,
Yes.
meaning it's bottled at full strength and probably over 140 proof or 70% alcohol.
It's 143 point something. It's double this. So let's see. What is it? It's 71.7, Randall. 71.7% alcohol.
Yep, that would be 30.
This is a 5-year-old whiskey, 5.5-year-old. Here, I'll give you guys some cups and you can go pour that for yourselves.
This is a rookie mistake that you've just handed the bottle
I know.
and the cups to the studio audience, and they're on
and they
their way out
just
the
ran
door.
away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
But what's in our
By the
coffee
way, they
cup-
start drinking that, they won't get very far. That's the one thing. So this is a special bottling from Lost Lantern, who does. They are basically an independent bottler for the United States.
for yes,
You want to explain that?
meaning that they have taken other people's products and put it under their label, which is Lost Lantern. And they're happy to tell you where some of these come from. I would imagine at some point they might have an NDA or whatever.
They may.
But this one is from a Mississippi distillery that went out of
Rich Grain
Business.
in Canton, Mississippi. They went out of business. They were actually barreling in 15-gallon barrels. And so they've released a couple barrels of this called different things for different people. But how ours is a little bit different we took they did, I shouldn't say we, 5 different 15-gallon barrels. They had 2 mash bills. 4 of one of the mash bills was just a little bit higher in rye, and the other one a little bit higher, no rye but wheat, and put them in an ex-bourbon barrel for another 6 months to let them marry.
Yeah.
This is what we got out of it. So it's different even than a single barrel. It's sort of creates something new. They sent us a bunch of samples. We tried this one, went nuts over it, because it's really weird, and I hate to say this, but it doesn't taste 140 proof. It's
Yeah.
gonna still get a lot of flavors going on there. It's not a one note, as we would
Doesn't
say.
burn out your palate.
Yeah, it's really, really good. This just came in. I will say it's already we're more than halfway through
Your sale of the
the
bottles. that
sale
you
of
have.
this. This is going to go
And there's
very,
a
very quickly.
finite production, unlike things that you can
This is-
make over and over again. This is a one and done.
This is a
But did you
Cool
hear the
one and
whole
done.
big long explanation, Ray? This is why they're going to call it vintage in the wine next year. Because by the time you break down all the components, the amount of time, how it was put together,
Mm.
you see people's eyes kind of glassing over. So once you taste this, and we have the studio and audience over here pairing it with their delicious pineapple cake.
What do you guys think?
which
Did you
looks
try it?
like it would be amazing.
It's really good, and I am not one of those high alcohol. Here, I've been saving this for like we got halfway through the show that he could have another piece.
I'll just take a little.
Do I like when you know somebody? You know somebody. You know what I mean? I already gave him his piece, and that was his pre-radio show piece, and I gave him another
This
piece.
whiskey
Out.
pairs amazingly with the.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
But this is something totally new. Lost Lantern, we actually carry almost anything that's available from them, we now have in the store. What's really cool about them is some of the stuff that we haven't been able to get, they've been bottling under theirs. And this is the sort of way independent bottlers work in Europe, and especially in Scotland, is they tend to get stuff that it may not make its way out to other markets.
Right.
And they get it. We just had a Frey Ranch, which you can't get from Nevada, which you can't get out here.
Right.
But they did a bottling of it, and we all got to try it. We all bought some.
So if you don't have distribution in Massachusetts,
Right.
from Frey Ranch, from Mississippi, from whatever state, maybe Hawaii or whatever,
Yep.
if they have not paid and then gone through the system in Massachusetts, you cannot technically get those.
Right.
Lost Lantern is in all those markets
Right.
and then can move that through their chain and make it available, which is really cool.
Right.
But if you're wondering like why you can't get Frey Ranch or the Mississippi products, it's just because they were never brought to the state.
Right.
Um,
Well, even something like Frey Ranch in Nevada, they're not making enough to open up new markets. So they're not actively searching to open up new markets.
Right.
But they do these projects, and they do like they sell some of their whiskey to somebody like Lost Lantern, and actually they can even test the waters a little bit, see if send it out here and ask Lost Lantern, please only do this on the East Coast, and they can get a gauge of like would their products be accepted out here. And so there's a symbiotic relationship that I think that happens with independent bottlers.
Right.
But Lost Lantern is not even the cool stuff. They have a vatted malt, a vatted American malt, which is really cool. They get like 5 or 6 different distilleries to come together and make a blend. And all the master distillers and master blenders from those distilleries got together and made this blend from portions of all their own stuff. So that's something that, like, how would you even think of getting something like that together unless you were somebody independent and sort of used your connections to have that happen?
So they're connecting people and making
Yeah,
it,
it's
but they're
cool.
not making the actual
No.
distillate themselves.
Matter of fact, they're up in
Isn't
Vermont.
this called a negociant in wine, or what is that?
It would be called a negociant in wine, and that's basically what an independent bottler is.
I don't know. I was just
But usually they'll bottle it only under their. A negociant usually does something a little bit different. They'll only bottle it under their labels,
right.
where independent bottlers tend to put their mark on it, like Lost Lantern.
Right.
But they'll also tell you every time they can of what they got
Right.
and where they got it from. So it's a little bit more. I don't want to say transparency, just a different business model.
It's slightly different, but I think over time what you'll find is that if a particular distillery wants to release something but doesn't want to water down their brand name, or it was an experiment that they tried a mash bill that they're not going to move forward with but don't want to
Not going to
create a
destroy it
frenzy
or, right,
or whatever
right.
is that they will ask that they do an NDA, and a lot of wineries take their excess product,
Right.
but don't want to kind of water down their brand name. And as a result, like a lot of really good liquid goes into different projects that you don't really know the origin of. So,
Correct.
Exactly.
and then you call it vintage.
And they call it
Right,
vintage.
so
I think
that's-
like in getting back to my nice birthday card here, 90 proof or 90% would be 180 proof. I wouldn't drink that, but I would drink this at a little over 140. And again, I'm not big into like high alcohol numbers, but this one's actually really good. And by the way, if you add a little water to this, you can even stretch this 750 out to probably about an 800 and 850 because there's plenty of flavor going on there and there's plenty of alcohol involved. So, don't feel free to try it with an ice cube or add a little like I would add Icelandic glacial water to this. That would see how I worked that in there.
I added pineapple upside down cake.
Did you? Was that good?
Celebration of Ryan's birthday.
Yes, lovely.
And I have to
beverage.
say that Ryan's personal piece of cake does taste sweeter than the other things that he
Of course. Of course.
He
saved
thinks that
the
was
best for
no.
himself.
I have mine is at home. Mine is at home.
Oh,
How much
this
time
was
do we
the
got?
practice cake.
That's no. I cut the cake. I
Okay.
cut the cake, and Jen sent it here so that you could have two pieces,
Thank you.
and that anybody that wanted some could have some, and then I will have. Jen and I aren't going to eat a whole cake.
Amateurs.
Amateurs. Amateurs. How dare you? How dare you? So she was. Listen, you should thank her. She was lovely enough to cut this
No,
up
I am very
this
thankful.
morning. And said, "I'll tell her you weren't grateful enough. You'll never get by."
A few days ago, you were having a conversation where you were going to tell her not to go to all the effort, and I stopped you. So it's the liquor talking. What we're talking about seems to be a lot about cake, but we'll be back with more
Everybody loves
of
my cake.
alcohol on the other side of this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
All right. Let's get we got to get the larceny question of the show out there.
Okay. We got
And-
chastised by Ted for.
I know. Ted is all
I
over the
think
place.
he's angry that he didn't get some cake.
Probably.
Got to be a.
All right.
We're talking about the delicious type of cake.
Mhm.
All right, you guys want to try something? Let's try
The
this.
answer is yes. Why?
Let's
are you
try
gonna-
this. Let's try this.
Okay.
Everybody, we want to try a Dirty Shirley. It sounds so bad, doesn't it?
Right.
Dirty Shirley.
I'm going to
everybody?
guess it's a Shirley Temple, but with
Right,
alcohol.
with alcohol in it. Cherry infused vodka, ginger, and lime. That's what it's made with. It's a sparkling cocktail, 6.9%. This is in a 12-ounce can. Shirley Temple drink is all grown up. The only reason you ordered a Shirley Temple because you don't want alcohol. It was for kids.
Right. Exactly.
All grown up now, deliciously dirty thanks to Black Infusion's dark cherry vodka, naturally infused with real cherries, made with real ingredients, no artificial sugar, just a hint of carbonization. Blackfusions.com. .com, Randall.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All
All
right.
right.
We're getting.
Ted's making dad jokes again.
All right.
I'll get
So
them
where
for
I'm
the
going to
stu-
put. Yeah.
Do I have? I think yeah.
Here's
Put him
two
over
up
there.
here.
Put 'em-
Open.
Here's one more. Here's
And I
one more.
didn't
You
get
won't be.
one.
You'll be fine. I'm not going to give you one. You don't deserve one. Well, you had the cherries in the cake.
So
though.
what's next? A Rob Roy Rogers?
That actually would work.
Yes.
That actually would work. You just came up with a new idea for a drink, Randall, and I like it. Smells pretty good.
If I had a hankering for a Shirley Temple, I would add my own alcohol to it if that's really where I wanted to go. That's how I would phrase this.
All right. Since we got 1 minute to go, I'm gonna read you everything that's wrong with this. It's fine. It's not a Shirley Temple though. And here's the other part of that. Everybody thinks about a Shirley Temple because you put a cherry in it, that it's cherry flavored. It's not. They use grenadine to make a Shirley Temple, and a Shirley Temple grenadine is what flavor, Randall? Is
Rose
grenadine.
hips?
What?
Rose hips.
No. It's pomegranate. It's pomegranate. So the syrup that you use is not cherry flavored, it's pomegranate flavored. So although everybody puts a bright red cherry in there to top it off, because why? because you're giving it to kids. It's fine on its own, and I know a
Maraschino
lot of people.
cherry is as fruit disguised as candy.
It should actually have. If you're gonna really make one, you should probably use the syrup for Luxardo cherries, but whatever, it's okay.
And what's going on with that cake?
Hey, everybody. Randall's eating all the cake now. We're back to WCRN.
I hate to
Anybody get any
see
more
food go to
crumbs over
waste.
there? He finished the first one. We could have reused the plate. I'm just putting that out there. We just during the commercial break, we tried Dirty Shirley, a cherry infused vodka, ginger, and lime concoction. It's alcohol, and it's a take on a Shirley Temple. Obviously, it's okay. It tastes okay. I just think they missed the mark because a Shirley Temple is Coca-Cola and grenadine, which is pomegranate, not cherry. So I get it because everybody puts a cherry in it. That's what they're thinking, but I don't know. I don't think it translates well.
Right. Remember when
It's
they
okay,
were
though.
doing those alcoholic super bomb pops?
Super bomb.
You know, the red, white, and blue
Yeah.
popsicles?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Rocket
It's
pop.
just
Like a
like-
rocket pop.
Right.
All you can taste in that, it's supposed to be lemon, cherry, and blue raspberry.
Yeah.
But one of the flavors takes over all the others, which is the blue raspberry.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Do you ever taste like whenever they do those things, it's always blue raspberry flavored.
Right.
You never get the cherry in the like the lemonade.
No. You know what else I didn't get the cherry in?
What?
Ray's cake. He literally picked it out.
Pick the cherry out of the cake. I see a cherry right there in your other.
Yeah.
Listen to this. I see the cherry right there in your other cake. Randall's now up to 3.
3 small portions or 1 normal sized portion.
All right. The other day was home opener, Red Sox home opener.
Yep.
Right. So I'm going to go over a couple things of that. But before I do that, I probably should do the larceny question of the show.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
You're not ready, but I'll go do it anyways. The sherry cobbler was a popular 19th century cocktail. What were the cobbles, quote unquote, in the sherry cobbler? Did you get that? The sherry cobbler was a popular 19th century cocktail.
So it has sherry.
Yeah. What were the cobbles in the sherry cobbler? Now, do you want me to give you? Do you need some?
Yeah, I
Want me to give
absolutely
you?
need something
Okay, you're doing
because-
some. All right. Were they cherries? Were they B, candied ginger? Were they C, tapioca balls, which is your favorite, Randall? Or were they D, shaved ice? So cherries, candied ginger, tapioca balls, or shaved ice? All right.
I'm gonna-
Go ahead. You're going to give me the answer? Yeah.
Does the studio audience they could come up with their answer?
All right. I'm going to do this. Studio audience,
I'm
who
gonna
thinks
go,
it's
this is what
cherry?
I'm thinking.
Who thinks it's candied sugar, candied ginger? Who thinks it's tapioca balls? I only got 1 vote for tapioca. Who thinks it's shaved ice? All right. What do you think it is? You
I
gave
don't-
me A, and now you're gonna
No,
bench
I
check
think
on
it's
it.
cherry.
You think it's cherry? All right.
Because first of all, tapioca balls are really not
Not a thing in the 19th century.
right. And then the second thing is shaved ice. You're just putting it on ice. Like what would you?
Ray, do you want to? Since you're probably closer to the 19th century than myself.
Oh, geez. You're
Very
closer.
true.
You're closer to fortified wines than any
Yes,
of us.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It wouldn't be ice, and
No, it wouldn't
I don't think it would be tapioca.
Okay.
What's the third choice? Cherry?
Candied ginger.
Candied ginger.
I'm gonna say candied ginger.
You're gonna go with candied ginger. So somebody just on went for ginger in the on Facebook Live. All right, the answer is, and I'm really surprised that you guys all discounted this. It's shaved ice because it's rough. Oh no, sorry. Two of our audience members got it. I'm sorry. I take that back. 2 of our audience members got it that way.
How is that?
But I was
just
talking
not a
about
drink?
I was talking about the experts.
So if you put shaved ice
It's
Yeah.
bumpy.
in wine,
It's bumpy.
Bumpy, so cobbled. Yeah.
Cobbles.
yeah, or shoes, cobbler.
Okay.
It tastes like shoes. Like is that ice? No, that's
All right.
the cherry.
The
juice you
answer
just had.
is The answer is ice. By the way, when I read that question, all I could think of was, that that round ice, the little round pebbles. I was thinking of because they're like all I kept coming was cobblestones. Like that's what I kept thinking was cobblestones and shaved ice. I don't think it'd be shaved. I think it'd be nugget ice or something like that. But whatever.
I
It's ice.
got a what are those
You were wrong.
flyers in the mail
Yeah.
from Home Depot, and there are 4 bricks for $1 now.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No, I did not. I didn't know I needed to know that, but thank you for.
I don't know what it has to do with anything really, but
What's the time?
So-
I want to know when the show actually just derailed.
it was much earlier than
It was
this.
much
But
earlier than this.
if you add like shaved ice to this lot 47 of the Old Vine Red,
Yes.
would you be calling that a cobbler, or would you just be calling that a tragedy?
No, because it's not the drink. It's a sherry cobbler. It's other stuff, but they also
It's a
add ice.
sherry
The
with
cobbles
ice.
are ice.
Okay. So, but now we move forward.
I love it.
Isn't
You
there a
can't just
cobbler, a
Take
shanty?
the L, Randall. Take the L.
All right.
Just take the L. Unlike the Red Sox, who won their home opener,
Yes.
Okay.
and they won. So, as Ray was alluding to earlier in the show, he was talking about grilling meats, and we're talking about actually starting to get into the spring, even though today does not feel like it. We're starting to talk that. We're also talking about one of my favorite times of the year, even though I eat them all the time of year, is hot dogs. It's hot dogs. Go to the ballpark, get a hot dog, right? So I saw this chart, and I wanted to go through it with you. How to pair whiskey and hot dogs. The sort of a combination you wouldn't necessarily think of going with hot dogs, and maybe after this you still won't think of it going with hot dogs. So here it is. So
Yeah, I don't know.
a regular one, like a regular hot dog with mustard. By the way, I'm going to just preface this by saying all these hot dogs will be a split top bun, a New England style bun. We don't have any other fancy stuff. It's a hot dog, and that's what it's supposed to go in. The rest of the country has it wrong. New England's the only one's got it right. All right. So just mustard. Just mustard. The pairing is bourbon. All right. Now, this one really bothers me on so many different levels, but I'm going to say it anyways. If you have a hot dog with ketchup and relish, it's rye whiskey. That's the pairing. All
It's
right.
not. That's an abomination. That's not a hot dog, unless you're in Chicago.
Jennifer, for some reason, we have this argument all the time. She goes, "You've had a hot dog with ketchup on it." I go, "Maybe when I was 3. I will give you that. But in my adult life, I have not had a ketchup on a hot dog. I just haven't.
No, I'm just.
Randall's been with me when we've gone on.
I'm
Randall run on a road trip all the time. If I see a hot dog stand, it's like he gets whiplash because I turn so fast into the place. Right? Have you ever seen me go like, "Oh, sir, I'd like that relish and ketchup, please."
If you're in Chicago, that's acceptable. If you're getting
I don't even think they do it.
a hot wiener in Rhode Island,
Yeah.
it's part of the style.
The ketchup?
Yep.
No, it's New York style.
Right, but that's the name of the restaurant chain that invented the hot.
Yeah,
wiener
but
in Rhode Island.
that has a chili meat sauce on it. There's no
Right.
There's no ketchup
Chili
on that.
is a form of.
Oh God! You're
Ketchup,
like
because it's
because it
tomato
uses
paste.
tomato paste.
Okay,
Please,
whatever. All right.
There's a big difference.
First of all,
between
here's what
the
I
condiment,
call.
the condiment and chili. There's a big difference.
I
Randall.
call BS on the whole list because you're pairing. You're not doing it to the hot dogs. You're doing it to the condiments.
Yes, yes.
But
It's-
if you were pairing it to like different types of casing meats.
Are you ready? It get worse. It gets
Okay.
worse. You ready?
All
You
right.
want to keep going? I
All
don't know. I didn't mean you to get this upset. I don't. Maybe I should stop now.
I don't
Want to
know.
go next? All
This
right.
just seems.
Onion sauce. You would use single malt scotch. Yeah, it's a good one. I like this one because I've never seen anybody do this, but I guess sauerkraut would be that. But how about cabbage and onions, which would basically be sauerkraut, right? I mean, sort of, right? I would have said
yeah.
sauerkraut, but that's Irish whiskey. That's what you do it.
Ugh.
Here's chili.
I can't even.
He's like totally disgusting. Tennessee. Excuse me. Chili cheese fries. Now, I'm going to look down here because I see none that says chili. Because chili would be a condiment that
ketchup.
you would use. It's not ketchup. Stop it. You're. My wife makes chili for me. It's not. I'm not eating ketchup with meat
Beans.
and beans. Chili cheese fries. Tennessee whiskey.
Okay. All right. Please stop this list. Off the top of my head, I'll do a better pairing.
Okay.
Corn dog, bourbon.
Oh, well, no. No, sorry.
Nope, corn dog's bourbon.
sorry. Corn dog is blended malt scotch.
How is that effing possible?
Well, the best part is
A fried haggis roll, maybe.
they don't have
but
it in the bun, so at least they didn't do that. So it's
Jeez.
just a corn dog is blended scotch, blended malt scotch.
Okay.
Do you want to know? You don't want to know?
I don't.
Raw dog. You know what a raw dog? Raw dog. Nothing. No bun. Just a hot dog. It's called a raw dog. You know what they? Canadian whiskey.
No, it should be night train because the only way that that's possible is that you're living on the streets.
Oh my god. Pigs in a blanket, which is not a hot dog, by the way. Pigs in a blanket. Flavored whiskey.
All right.
Wait a minute. Here you go, because this would never ever happen in like 1,000 years with Randall. But I'm gonna put this out there. Blue cheese crumbles. That would be peated scotch.
On a hot dog.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so this is I don't even you know how people like wake up in the morning and they think, I'm gonna become a content generator.
Yeah. I think that's what this
And they
person thought.
probably fell out of the top part of the bunk bed and hit their head, and then this is what they come up with.
Mom, make me breakfast. Mom, up.
Because the next thing in the evolution of this food, theory
Yeah.
is going to be different wines that you pair with chicken nuggets, depending on the shape of the chicken nugget, the dinosaur versus the.
Oh, why would you give somebody that idea?
Because that's how
That'll be
stupid
next
the
week
idea
on
is.
next week on It's the Liquor Talk. Joe. I got to give you this one. Bacon wrapped footlong. Now, bacon wrapped footlong, if you took a hot dog and you wrapped it in bacon, now you're talking bourbon, right? Nope. American single malt.
All right, let's please, for the love of God, take a break. From
Rice, seaweed, and celery. That, of
this.
course,
And
would
if
be,
you haven't
that would
been
be
put off
Japanese whiskey,
your
by the way.
breakfast, we'll be back on the other side. Please stay tuned.
Mm. That sounds so good, doesn't it? Japanese whiskey with rice, seaweed, and celery. Who in their right
These
mind
aren't even
is
real things.
It's not even a real thing. I agree with you, Randall. But I just wanted to drive you crazy.
It's like, let's put AI to work
Yes.
on solving the world's problem of what whiskey goes with a hot dog.
now, like
And then it's run through, what's that little children's
Oh, I
computer?
forgot this one.
Leapfrog?
Yeah, leapfrog.
Yeah, that's what it's been processed through.
But here's nacho cheese and crushed potato chips.
Please don't say it's a tequila.
No, it's Texas whiskey.
Texas whiskey.
Texas whiskey. Have you not been paying attention?
It's not a category.
Not a category. But why wouldn't you do? But first of all, like, why wouldn't you do American? The bacon wrapped footlong would be bourbon. I mean, if you were really gonna do exotic sort of things, that sort of would have made sense.
If you're talking about different types of meat, I could see how you could possibly do it.
Yeah, that's not what the topic was, Randall.
Right.
It was how to pair whiskey and hot dogs. Hey, well, we'll try that when we come
Is
back.
this because of the Dirty Shirley? It's like children's kind of food. Try to make it all grown up and stupid.
Hey, if you want, Ray, the wine department had a thing this past Thursday, Francis Ford Coppola Winery, and you should check out the interview I did with Andrea Card. Was really, really good, and I guess the tasting went over really well.
Went very well, yeah.
Yeah, so they do a claret, Randall. You want to explain to Randall what a claret
Isn't it
is?
a claret?
No, it's a claret.
Want me to explain to him?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to throw him off the track. He's going to get off the hot dog thing.
So a claret is the English term for a Bordeaux, which is
Because the English won't use the French word.
right.
Right.
That's basically the reason, by the way.
That is the reason.
That is the reason.
Yeah. So it's
It's the reason.
any combination of Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot.
Yep.
That's the American version as opposed to Bordeaux. So they call it a claret.
Claret. Because anything, if you have to use French for the word, I'm out. That's
If
basically how
we're
that
doing
goes.
our back to our childhood, I played a 5th level claret paladin in Dungeons
In the
and Dragons,
production
the
of
whole
what?
thing.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In,
All right.
in the production of like my high school experience was a living hell, and I got beat up every day. That
I always find it hard to think that you got beat up every day. Randall's 6.
I'll
For
paint
those
you
of you who
the
don't
pi-
know,
I will
Randall's
paint the
Randall's
picture
not
that
standing. Randall's 6'7".
I am now currently 300 pounds heavier than I was in high school.
You only weighed 100 pounds in high school.
No, I weighed about 120.
Okay. See, now you know how much Randall weighs.
Yeah. It's
No.
shrinking rapidly because I've been depleted of cake resources. But let me see if I can refresh that right now.
You want to fix that? Here, will you put these up front so that the studio audience can get some? This is so everybody's getting into this little side deal because House Wine used to, and then didn't they do like porch pounder and stuff like to that, right? Didn't they
Yes.
do like that stuff?
Yeah.
So they made like a really good like red wine that was called porch pounder and stuff like that. But since everything's
All right.
gone to seltzers, now they're doing like blueberry citrus wine lemonade.
Let me ask you a question. House Wine is a brand
Yes.
that typically did wine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is still wine based. God, that's awful. It does taste like blueberry citrus lemonade. I'll give them that. It doesn't have the weird back taste that Malta, but it's just it's okay. No, I take that back. It's terrible. I wouldn't drink that. Oh my God.
I like
What's
to know
that?
who did the product testing on this.
All right, we're coming back.
Awful.
It's the person who wrote the hot dog article.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN. AM 830. The hot dog pairing didn't go over very well. So I wanted to continue with that spring, we had opening day and stuff like that. So Giovanni, the spirits guide extraordinaire upstairs, saw that we had done bacon soda last week. So he actually picked us up. I think he got it at Harvey's farm stand here in Westboro. Grass soda, made and bottled in the USA. Pure cane sugar, grass flavored soda. And all I kept thinking about when I saw this, Randall, do you remember Odka?
Yes.
Do you remember cut grass?
Yes. They
Odka?
had like freshly mown grass flavored vodka.
Yes. You remember what a horror show that was?
It was.
It was a horror show.
Now,
This-
this I worry because back in the day they had electricity flavored vodka, they had cut grass,
Wasabi.
they had wasabi, they
Oh,
had
good.
a buttered
Popcorn.
but like the artificial butter.
Yep.
And we panned it on the radio show,
Yes, we did.
and it
Not
promptly
one.
drove people to sell it out because they were like, it can't be as bad as you're saying.
Well, here's the funny part about that is it was called Odka, and they had all of these funky flavors, and every week we would pick another one, and we'd taste it, and we'd tell everybody how bad it was, to the point I had the guy who was the rep begged me to stop. Said, "Can you stop?"
They were trying to run
Talking.
the brand into the ground and just be done with it.
Well, here's the funny part. We actually made it. We had a display of it, and we put as panned on It's the Liquor Talking, right? And we were the only ones that sold out of it because people wouldn't believe us how bad it was.
Right.
And no one asked for their money back, but I had people come in and goes, "I didn't think you were. I thought you were lying. It really was that bad," and they didn't ask for their money back because they couldn't, because I told them how bad it was.
Right.
Right?
But I mean, I think there are a lot of people who listen to our show that are masochists. That's
probably-
my personal belief. And so I knows this grass soda.
Yes.
And I had much of my childhood was mowing lawns for
Yeah.
as a business, right? Now what you would call a landscaper, I was just basically a whipping boy that people threw quarters at to mow their lawn. So when you smell this, the nose, it is cut grass, but after it's dried, the layer of grass
Yes,
that
I-
sits on top of the cut
Unfortunately,
grass.
Giulio
That is-
Colangelo, my
yeah.
grandfather, who this store is named after in own supermarkets. His love was actually landscaping. And at the age of like 9, 10 years old, I joined him on that quest, and he had me cutting grass like all summer long. So I am with you on that one. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Ryan, if you were to claim today that you had getting juvenile diabetes, I would accuse you of trying to appear like younger and more hip.
Right.
And the fact that in the 70s you're talking about cutting grass as landscaping, I'm calling BS on it.
Yeah. No, it was called
It's called your chores.
It's called the chores. It was
Yeah.
called the chores.
It's called get
Um,
out, stop sitting in front of the TV.
The only thing, and here's the thing, pure cane sugar. Well, here it is. It's a bunch of terribly tasting stuff that does taste like cut grass, highlighted by the fact that it's sweet, sickling sweet.
Yeah.
So that you can call it soda and a kid can get a sugar high. By no means necessary. Listen, if you hate somebody, I wouldn't get him this.
Right. There's a whole, I think this is the Agca thing too. People are like, I really like, it's like when your child says, smell my finger, right? You know, it's not going to be good.
No,
Like,
it's never gonna be
what
good.
does this smell like? And you're like, oh, this is going to be terrible.
Right.
But I think people have this like part of them that wants to experience that.
How bad can it be? Is usually your thing. Like how bad
And
can it be?
recently, I uncovered a whole bag of zombie Skittles. Do you remember those?
Oh, I do remember those.
Yeah. So that in there, looking hidden in the normal Skittles, was this one Skittle flavor that was so atrocious balls that it
Horrible.
would change the rest of the flavor of the other Skittles. It was the zombie Skittle. And people,
Like
they sold out of that.
rotten meat. I think that's what rotten meat.
If you have ever had a question in your mind like, man, I love the smell of grass and I would love to see a soda made out of it, this will scratch that itch.
I
But
guess
I
so.
don't know anyone
I don't know
who's
who's
ever
got
had
that type of itch, but all right.
The nose is off-putting.
Everything about it is wrong, and basically these are things that are produced for as gag gifts. They have to be. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to get I'm going to get Uncle Jim this or whatever. I don't think anybody goes in there and goes, oh man, my hankering for cut grass soda needs to be itched, and I need to buy another 6-pack of that. I think it's like one of those type of things is like it's one and done, right?
Depending on how big your yard was when you grew up,
Yes, Randall's still on the
they
yard.
could have called it trigger warning.
Yes, exactly. Here, I'm
Because
gonna
as soon as I taste and nose this, I'm taken back to
Get it?
just bugs and sweating and
Maybe
dry
maybe
grass
that
ink
is
on my skin and
I would say-
my
Yeah.
under my like shorts, like when I was sweating.
maybe maybe this isn't the problem. Maybe we're the problem. No, I don't think so. No.
No.
It's just us. All right, let's try something. Let's try something that has the possibility of at least being good. Dark Arts Whiskey House, our good friend Macaulay, put this together. This is at 100 proof. It is. I don't know if he gives us the age on this. I don't know if he gives us the age on this one. But anyways, this is Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished with toasted Mizunara oak staves, Japanese oak staves. So I figured we would try this one because we just came back in stock. I didn't get to taste it during the whiskey festival, and it was by the time I went to get some, it was out of stock. So just came back in.
Grass flavored soda is like irresponsible time traveler,
Well, don't.
and it's going to affect anything that comes after
I
it
won't.
in
No.
some weird way.
No, well, the thing is it's always whenever you're trying something, especially if you're trying a lot of stuff in succession, never trust your first sip. Always take two, because the first one's going to get rid of that
Well,
god
I
awful
will say,
flavor that was
trust
in
your
your
first sip on the grass soda.
Yeah. Yes. You shouldn't have to drink that again. Let's put it that way. All right.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
The Mizunara definitely pops. If
yeah.
you're not, if you don't like that flavor, and not everybody does, but I think
How would you
it really-
describe it? Well,
it's like a fruitier wood
yeah,
flavor.
it's like a plummy sort of flavor too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But like, I think it's really good. Oh, just so you know, Cousin Vinny reiterated exactly what we said. The term claret originated in the 17th century and 18th century when British wine merchants and consumers referred to red wines from Bordeaux as claret. Yes, because they didn't want to use the term Bordeaux.
Wasn't it also a cough drop? Clarets.
That was a stretch.
Real stretch.
That was a
That
real
is-
I'm
stretch.
just saying.
If you were on the
I
second
always
base,
read it
you'd be,
as
you'd be
claret.
doing splits and trying to catch that ball. That's how much of a stretch that was. This is actually really good. Dark Arts, 100 proof. I like it.
Yeah.
This is really good. This is finally, because we were not doing well here. I will point it out. Studio audience was about
you
to.
picked and put stuff on the
I
table.
put stuff on the stuff
Right,
because
right.
people gave some of the stuff to us. I wanted to try it. Okay, well then you're smarty pants. Let's do this one next. Let's do Copper and Cask straight rye whiskey finished in a second oak cask. This is called Autocratic. 7 years, 57.5 ABV. You want
Right.
to tell us about this one since we
Sure.
have time? We have like a couple
It's
minutes.
more than one cast that it was finished in.
All right, why don't you give us the lowdown?
So there are a couple ryes at the warehouse that
By the
were
way,
what
he's
they
all
called
sugared out. He had, like,
low
3.
yield.
Yeah.
You think I'm 3 pieces of cake are going to do me in?
No, it's the soda.
No. Okay. Anyway, bunch of ryes in a low yield barrel. So you're getting these from the supplier, which in this case is MGP, and they're so low that you can't really offer this for sale because it would only yield X number of bottles. So they were mixed together, batched, both 95.5s, both about the same vintage, and then put into a barrel that you had given us that had previously had coffee beans aging in the bourbon barrel.
Right.
That
That's
barrel, it passed over the wood and it picked up a small amount of that flavor, but that barrel was super leaky because over time it just was not holding liquid well. And then it went into the old Moxie rye barrel that was called Roxy, which was a Catoctin Creek barrel for the final finishing with a small amount of 20-year-old rye added to bolster it.
10 seconds. Well, we only have 10 seconds left. This is delicious. It's not available yet. This is coming. This is actually our sample of approval to have it bottled.
And
So-
of course, Autocratic, just reminiscence of the Autocrat, which is a coffee syrup.
Made it renowned.
No coffee syrup was used in the making of this, and the warehouse is in Rhode Island, so it's a nod to Rhode Island / coffee that it's aged.
This
or
will be coming out.
associated with.
Keep an eye out for it. Thanks everybody for joining us today. There'll be no show next week. Randall's away. I'm away. Ray's working. Ray's
I would
not
say
away.
that we're both off.
Oh, yeah.
but
Ray's
that
got
would
his
apply to
tasting that
too.
day. Go
That's
to Ray's
right.
tasting.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. Go to
Is that it?
juliosliquors.com for all the pertinent information. Have a good one. That's delicious.
Mm.
Thanks, guys. You won't see me next week. All right. Let's take that off. I will do that. Second. All right, let's get that off. And what's the last thing I got to do? Oh, I hope we recorded that. I thought, did we record that? She came on and said recording, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
No, we're all set.
After the